Emily, and I used to be a UX designer at LinkedIn, but now I'm in the training, heading to my fourth term, which is my last term. And if you don't know what that is, it's just a Bible school that's in Anaheim. So yeah, today I'm gonna be going over how to create a digital gospel track. I'm super excited to show you guys. So let me start sharing my screen. Oh, and really quick, last year I think I went over how to create gospel tracks on Canva. But so if you're interested in doing more still maybe simpler gospel tracks, you can check out the YouTube video. I think Brother Isaac has it. Yeah, Canva workshop. But today what I'll be going over is how to create digital gospel tracks on Figma, which is a free tool that you can get online, and it's great because you can pretty much create animations. I don't know if you guys know After Effects, which is from Adobe, but it's pretty much the same, close, not as like detailed, but what's great is that it's free. So I'm gonna share my screen really quick. I just want to show you guys the site. So you can basically go to figma.com, and then from here it's like this free design tool. A lot of designers are using it right now. Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't know a designer that's not using it, but basically it's meant for creating UI, but you can also create, now that it's more advanced, you can download all these free plugins where you can basically create cool animations on it as well. And it's kind of like Google Docs or Google Drive, where you can have like a bunch of people view it and edit at the same time. And I think the free version, you can have unlimited people viewing it. I think you can have a good amount of editors too. So yeah, and I love it. It's great. So I'm gonna start sharing my Figma. Okay, so let me go over what I'll be showing you guys today. So basically, I created this gospel track where when I share it, you can view it on mobile, or actually I can share the link with you guys, which is super easy. So here, all I have to do is click copy link, and then let me put it in the chat. Where's the chat? It's like, okay. And then from here, you guys should be able to go in and view it and tap through. So basically, see, now I can see people coming in, and you can have a lot of people view. So I'm just using my arrow keys because I'm on desktop, but basically, Bibles for America has all these really great gospel tracks. I couldn't think of my own on the spot, but it was nice to just, they had one that was about what is the essence of the Bible. So I just kind of broke it down into these slides and kind of started with this idea of this orange, and, having it roll around, and having it so that you can like zoom in, and then just to kind of describe a piece of that blog post. So as you can see, you can pretty much animate anything on here. And what's also great is you can pull in videos and GIFs that you find on Google or maybe your own, and just plop it in, and then it could be part of the prototype. And so it's pretty easy, and I'll go through it step by step, but this is the gospel track that I'll be showing you guys. So let's get started. So this is my page. So the way that I create that is I have a home. Actually, let me go to this is what you'll see when you first get Figma. And if you want to create a new project, you simply hit new, and then you can do a design file. Figma Jam, I haven't used it yet, but it's like an interactive whiteboard. But for today, we'll just go over creating a new design file. And what happens is it opens a new tab, and then basically what you have here is like this infinite space, like where I can create as many screens and as many artboards as I want. And I love it because it's just so much more easier and freer than Adobe, because Adobe I have to I'm so restricted to the artboard, when here I could just simply start drawing right on the spot. See, I can add my rectangles, I can add whatever. I don't even need an artboard to start creating things. So let's go back to my file. Oh, sorry, there's a bit of a lag. Okay, so first thing I want to show you guys is how do you draw on this. Basically Figma is you're able to do vector drawing, and what that means is you can basically create shapes with points, little points that you can edit here and there. So because the main thing in this prototype is the orange, so I'm going to show you how I created this orange with just really 3 elements: the base, the leaves, and then the spots, which give it a little texture. So in order to create the base, actually before I do that, I like to pull up, I love using keyboard shortcuts, and something, in order to find things, I love to search. Okay, I can just search keyboard shortcuts, and what's great is that it basically gives you all the shortcuts that you ever need to know about Figma. So creating this orange tool, I'm actually gonna use a lot of the shape tools. So it's pretty straightforward, like pen, which is the drawing tool where I can draw different things as P, and then where is the, well, circle is an oval is a O, and then a rectangle is a R. So it's pretty straightforward. But if you ever need help, they have this really great shortcut toolbar here. So I'm just gonna close it for now so I have more space. And also really quick, this side is basically, it's very similar to Adobe. You have your layers here. So within a frame or artboard, I have all these different pieces or layers that I put on here. And then it all appears here. And from here, I can either lock it, which means it won't move or budge, or I can make it, so I'm selecting the spot right now. I can make it disappear. And then if you see on my right, all my design tools, I have all these really great functions where I can change the font, the size, even the color and everything. Yeah, and feel free to ask questions too as I'm going. It's okay if you interrupt me. This is super casual, so I'm happy to explain anything. And also really quick, right now I'm actually using the desktop app for Mac, but actually Figma is something, you can use it as a browser, or it has a website. So basically it works for Mac and PC, and as long as you have internet or Wi-Fi, you can use this with Chrome. So it's really great. You don't even need to download a separate tool. I just download the desktop app just because it helps me organize things. So okay, let's start with the base. So to create this, it's pretty straightforward. I just hit O, and then I just kind of create my circle. And for me, I just kind of estimate the size that I want. And also, I guess before that, helping you understand the size and how to, the perspective, what I like to do is I'll hit the F key, and within, so the F key, oh no. Okay. The F key, basically what I was saying, it's like the artboard, or sort of this white space that you can create stuff in. You don't always need it, but it's great for helping you with the screen size. And what I love about Figma is that it has all these different screen sizes. And then, so if you can see, I have screen sizes for the iPhone, for Android, for Google, and then even better, so when you're creating gospel track, they have all these different sizes for social media posts. So you have Twitter posts, Instagram stories, or so the size is already set for you. So actually what I did, because I was thinking, oh, maybe I could post this as an Instagram story. So all I have to do is just click this, and it perfectly creates this frame for me of what the Instagram post, so with the right size and everything. And I just have to, I can start building my elements. So this was about the size that I wanted the orange. So I'll move this here. And so I want, I obviously wanted to be an orange color. So over here is the fill, which is the color of it. And then, sorry, I have to move this. Okay. Um, and basically, I have this orange color that I pick. So every time you, I guess, put a color in this, it starts saving it into this, what it says, document colors. And it's great because maybe, I don't know, maybe I decide to do red, and then maybe I create another element that red will also be there. See, it'll show up here, which is great. Like I don't even have to do anything, but I want this to be orange, so I'm just gonna pick this. And you can also go into the selector, and which I also like to do, and just kind of adjust the orange color here. And this down here is really the opacity, so how transparent it is. So maybe like, I don't know, I want it lighter. And then what I mean by transparency is that if I had something behind it, it would basically see through. So, but for this purpose, I just want it to be orange. And a cool shortcut I love is that, so I want this to be the same as this. So I'll select this, holding Command, and then I'll do Option Command C, and then select this and do Option Command V. And then it'll basically copy and paste the elements of what this was. So the color, and if maybe I had a stroke on it, which is like an outline or something, it would show up here. So now I have my orange. Now I want to create the leaves. So the leaves, obviously, I don't have like there's no easy or straightforward shape to it. So what I'm gonna do here is take my pen tool, which is P. And by the way, I know this might be a little fast, but it's recorded, so you can always go back later and like check on different parts of the video. But anyway, so basically, I just kind of drew this freely, but you could totally sketch it out first and then put it into the Figma file and trace over it. But for now, for the leaves, I'm just gonna draw it. So this is my pen tool where I can create any vector shape I want. So what I like to do is I'll just start off with one point, and then I'll drag it, which is kind of this, I guess this thing here basically dictates how the angle is gonna be for my next point. And if you can see, it's already kind of curved. So I just want to put another point and then hold and drag. And then because I don't want this kind of rounded edge right here, I'm gonna hold Option, and I have this, if you see this little caret where I can start breaking and editing that angle. And then I want to go back to my point and then hit here and then pull and drag so I can get the angle. And then I can't always get it right on the first time, so I'll go back and kind of use these, I don't know the right term for it, but let's just call it these little lines or dots, and I could just adjust how I want. And because I actually want this filled, so right now it has a stroke. The stroke is really just the outer outline, but what I don't want to outline, I want it to be filled. So I'm gonna hit this minus, which is just to get rid of the stroke, and I'm gonna add a fill, which is this color. And then I'm just gonna get my green here. And then so I have my leaf here. And then what's cool is that I can actually, maybe I feel like, oh, this point is like a little too sharp. I can go in and select it. And if you look above here, I can make it, this is basically to edit how round the points are. It's not perfect, so you might have to kind of experiment. Sometimes it doesn't always round it out. But if you see these, it's starting to round out for some of these points over here. So it's not like a perfectly sharp leaf. So yeah, that's my leaf. And then I have a little line in the middle, which basically what I did was I took my pen tool again and just traced the line here. And then, let me see, I forgot what color I think I did a light green. So this one I just did a stroke because really that's just a line. So let me select that. And then I think I used this color here. Okay. And that's my leaf. And then, so what I like to do is, you notice on the left side, this is like my layers, which is where all the different pieces that I just created are. So this is these two pieces are the leaves. So what I like to do just to be organized is hit Command G to group them together and then label as a leaf. So I can I know what that is. And then this, I just called it base. So just to rename it, the shortcut I use is Command R. And then I just put base. So I want another leaf, but instead of recreating it, I'm actually just gonna duplicate it. You can copy and paste too, which is Command C, Command V, but I'm gonna do Command D. And then, cause it needs to actually go the other angle. So I just wanna flip it, which is, I think it's Command, oops, no, not that one. Sorry, I just, what was it? I think it's Option H, no. Okay, what was it again? No, okay. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. But anyways, I could just simply rotate it like this. And because I want the leaf to look a little different, so I'm gonna actually alter the shape a bit. So I'm gonna go in and select just the base layer of the leaf and hit enter or return. And then I'm gonna go into the points and just edit it a bit so that it looks slightly different. You don't have to do it. This is just like something I wanted to adjust. So just so it looks a little different. And then I don't want the line sticking out. So I'm gonna hit Command Enter. Yeah, do this. So yeah, there is my orange. So now I wanna, add some spots to give it a bit of character. So actually super quick too. So what's important about layers is that it also shows you like what is on top of what. So right now my leaf layer is actually at the top. So if I move this around, it's gonna go over the orange base. But actually I want it to go behind. So I'm just gonna simply select my leaf layers and then move it down. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna move it slightly so that the bottom doesn't show. And then, yeah, so now I want to create some spots. So basically what I did was I just took the oval tool and then so O, and then just started creating circle, some oval shapes here. And then because I don't want it to be, want them all to be perfectly like an oval. So I'm going to go in and just kind of, like I did with the orange, kind of edit the shape a bit just to give it more character. And I know I want this to look slightly different too. Like that. And then because it's really, there's no fill for the spots. So I just simply remove the fill, add a stroke, and I think I did white. And then what's nice here, you can even adjust the thickness of the strokes. I think I did maybe about 3. And then just, yeah, adjust, oops. So 2, 3, okay. And then from here, I also selected all of them, put them in a group, and I just named it spots. And then from here, I just kind of moved it around. And if you hold Option, you can also see the positioning and like the pixels, like oh, it's about 70, from the top, or 80 from the side. So just to help you like kind of align everything. And maybe like you're not quite sure like what is center. Figma's pretty good where if I just simply drag it, you see these red lines coming up. It actually helps me, lets me know that this is the center. Another way is like you have alignment tools right at the top. So maybe I want to I could align it to the left, to the top, but right now I actually just want it to center. So it's just simply clicking those, and there are shortcuts for that too. So this is my orange. So now that I have my orange, I want to show you guys how do you animate it? So the first part, you see this orange kind of rolling back and forth. And then basically I took what I drew, this orange, and I created what I mentioned before, frames. So let's start with the first one. So this is kind of that first image of where the orange starts, and I have this text here. So what's cool is that Figma has this tool on the side. All right, let me move a few things. I'm just gonna hide this. Okay, so you see this design section here. This is where, what you guys saw. I can edit colors, I can edit shapes. But now I want to go into animating, which is prototype. And this is what designers actually use to create those prototype screens that you can tap and everything. And you don't need to know any code, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I want animation to happen between these two screens. So for this prototype, you notice there's this plus button. I can actually select any layer, and there's this little dot that appears. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to pull it here. So that means I want the animation to flow between these two screens. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply select Smart Animate here. And that's under the interactions here. So when someone clicks it, and you can select whatever you want, maybe it's on the click, on the drag, on hover. But basically I'm going to do click, and I'm going to Smart Animate. And what Smart Animate is this is where layers are really important. So it's smart enough where, so say I have this text layer here, and it shows the text consider in orange. And so I'm going to take that same layer, and I'm going to put it here. And I want it to disappear in the next slide. So I copied and pasted it here. Let me just hide this for now so you guys can see. And then I'm gonna shift it down like a couple, just like a couple layers. I'm gonna go into the design layer, and this is the opacity of the layer, which I mentioned before. It's like, how transparent or opaque a layer is. So I'm actually going to put 0%. So basically you can't see it. And what Smart Animate does is it's going to detect that that's the same layer. So in the next screen, it's actually going to disappear and shift down. And so that's for my text. And then so I obviously have this other text that I want to pop in here. So I'm just going to copy and paste it here. And then I actually want it to come down. So I'm going to shift it up. And then I'm going to make it disappear. So what happens is, let me see. Hopefully this will show up. If I hit the play button, okay, no, I can't show. But basically what I'm trying to recreate here, sorry, I have too many windows. If you notice, is that's just a simple text animation. So if you look at the consider orange, it disappears, and then this text shifts in. So that's basically what I just created. So let me go back to Gospel Track.
Let me ask, I think Caleb might have had a question. Caleb?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Okay, so my question is, what website is this again?
Oh, Figma.com. Let me put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, yeah.
Okay, so that's how you animate the text. So now I want to animate the orange. So what I do is actually I'm gonna group this together, or actually I'll keep it like this. I'm gonna copy and paste it into here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'll do this. I'll group this together and call it the base. What's important is that these layers are named the same so that when you smart animate, it can recognize that this is the same layer and you changed it in the other frame. So I'm gonna call this base, that's what I called it. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is, because I want it to roll, so all I did actually was just simply rotate it to its side, because I basically just imagine like an orange rolling over. So what I'm gonna do is shift it and move it to its side, and then also rotate my leaves like this, and then just simply move this here. Okay. And then because the orange is like on top of the leaves, so I'm actually gonna go in and edit the leaves because the weight of the orange is like pushing the leaves, so they should be more bent. And also really quick, if you guys are asking questions in the chat, I actually I might need some help. It's feel free to just ask on Zoom or unmute yourself. It'll be easier for me to see the questions because I can't always check back on the chat.
I'll check the chat, so it's okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm just editing that, adjusting the angle and everything, and then even here, just like shifting the points here, this, that it looks like it's kind of like pressing on the leaves and then adjusting the line. And Smart Animate, I feel, is it's pretty good where it could even detect like that you change the shape, the vector shape. So that's pretty much it. So that's how I got it to roll on one side. And so if we go back to the prototype, this is what it looks like. So it knows that, you know, the layer changed and moved to the side, if you can see that. And then to get it to the other side, so because it goes frame by frame, I actually need to, so I'm gonna duplicate it, Command D, and then I don't need these layers. And I just want the same text layer here. And I need it because it needs to go back up, right? So I just keep the same orange here. And then I want to duplicate this one, get rid of any layers I don't need. And because just to help me, I'm just going to group it. No, that. Okay. But basically, I just rotate it onto the other side. There's a shortcut where you can simply just like flip it horizontally or vertically, and then just kind of keep it there like this. And then also make sure that I need to get rid of the group because I want the layers to be the same. And then go to prototype and then just make sure that all these are connected. So it's going here and I'm dragging this here. And then I'm making sure that it's Smart Animate, and then here. And also really quick, you guys can go in and even edit the ease in, ease out. So what that is that instead of just having the motion speed the same throughout, ease in, I think it slows down in the beginning and then it picks up speed later, and then ease out is the opposite. And this really just kind of helps. I just choose ease out. I'm still kind of learning like what makes more sense, but it's good to just have it to help the speed and the flow look more natural instead of just like a linear speed where it just stays the same. And then here you can even adjust like how quickly you want each frame to animate. And 300 is usually, I just keep 300 because it's the standard that I'm using. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And so what you would get is basically this rolling around. And I'm just using the arrow keys to flip through. Yeah. So yeah, that's how you animate the orange roll. So let me see. So now I want to show you guys how I animate the text here. It's basically the same thing. I have my invisible text here where I had it at the top, and then I shifted it down. And I have the leaves, which I place in a different position, and then these dots. So I'm gonna go over that here. So pretty straightforward, same thing. So I took the text and I started off with this blank green frame. I'm gonna make sure that that's not there. So copy and paste the text, move it up, and then turn the opacity to 0. And then I'm gonna take all these dots, which I drew with the O hotkey, and I'm just gonna select the layer and copy and paste it here. And then I'm just gonna shift it up a couple pixels up. And then I like how, you know, some of them they don't all fall at the same time. So I'm just gonna go in and just shift some, just kind of like, just select a few and shift some a little higher. And then maybe, yeah, so that it would all fall. And then what I'm gonna do is grab all these circles and then do that so that that it'll just kind of flow in the next page. And then what I'm gonna do is take all my leaves, which you guys saw earlier how I created, copy and paste it here. And the way that I want the leaves to flow in is I actually want it to flip in instead of just simply going down. So that means I just have to simply rotate it a bit and then move it out of the screen. I'm just using my arrow keys, by the way, to move everything. And then I think I want this to flip in this way. So I'm just gonna rotate this out, shift it up a bit, and then rotate this out, shift it this way, maybe a little higher. And this one, rotate out, shift it out here, rotate it like this, move it down, rotate. Yeah, so just really quick too, if you notice anytime I select something, you guys probably saw already, but as long as I'm like at the corner, it'll show the rotate tool where I can just rotate it. And then I'm gonna grab all my leaves and then do the same thing, make it 0. So basically what you get is, if I go back to is these leaves coming in and then the dots filling in. So pretty straightforward. Once you guys know how to do the basic stuff, it's really easy. And then so of course, don't forget, go to prototype and then select this and then make sure it's on Smart Animate. So that means if I click through, it will show up like that. So now I'm gonna show you guys how you animate this texture. So basically I had 3 screens here, and this is what it looks like. Let me go. So what I did was I increased the size of the orange and the spots, and then I shifted the layer so that it would move up. So let me show you what I did. Okay. So basically, I took this layer, which is called base, and I just took, let me just delete this actually, and I just moved it here, and then I just simply stretched it out so that it fills the whole screen. And actually, what I did here, I originally used, but basically I just want to stretch this out so that it will just expand through the animation. And I also want this to be on the lowest layer so that all the other elements can go through. And then I went in and created each of these spots, basically how I did with these spots. And then I took these same spots, copy and pasted it here, and then just enlarged it so that it fits here. So that when I move to the next screen, what's gonna happen is that this base, and then these spots are gonna scale up and move into this very position. And then, so now that I have all these like ellipses layers, I'm gonna take that and the spots, I'm gonna duplicate this screen, and then I'm actually just gonna simply, oops, no, not this one, this layer. I'm just gonna, oh, how come I keep selecting? Okay. Okay, and then select my spots layer, and then I just move, all I did was just move this up like this. And then same thing, I just went to prototype and drag this here, make sure it's on Smart Animate, and drag this here. So it's all connected. And then as I go through the arrow keys, it'll basically move up like this. That's how you get like a auto scroll. Okay, and then finally, what another thing I love about Figma is that they have all these great plugins. So I'm gonna go back to my homepage, and so you'll have this kind of page where you can create like infinite amounts of projects. And what's cool is that they also have this community section here. And from here, I could basically download, I can download plugins, I can download illustrations. So for example, maybe I like this one. All I have to do is hit duplicate, and then I get the file. And then so these are like other designers who have created this for free so people can use it. And I just go, they have different pages here so I can just look through. And it's great because then I can just grab this, copy, and then paste it into my design file and use it however I like. And it's all free. These are just done by designers who I guess they just wanted to do it for fun. And there's so many different illustrations you can grab and download. And if you ever wanted to get into UI design, they also have wireframes that you can grab, even different like fonts or style guides if you need help with like deciding on color or deciding on like fonts. There's all these great like Figma files that people have just put for free that you could totally just click in and grab. And then so what I want actually is to get a plugin. So what I like to do is I'm just gonna search this plugin. So it's called Figmotion, and this is what makes Figma very similar to After Effects. So I already downloaded it, but basically it's just called Figmotion, and you just install it from here. And so what that does is if I go back to my my design file, I have, and I go into, Figma, I have all these different plugins that I have, but what I want to use right now is Figmotion. So I'm just going to open Figmotion. And then actually, let me know, can you guys see this window?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to do, actually, let me rename this frame to test. And then I want to animate. Okay, I'm gonna close this and open it again. Okay. Okay, awesome. So basically, it's very similar to After Effects where it detected all my layers within this frame, and I can basically go in and edit these or animate these layers. So I have 2 orange slices here. And so what I'm doing is basically this step where the orange turns into 2 slices and they move a little bit. And I can't really do that with the regular prototype tool because I would need a ton of frames and I think it wouldn't look very smooth. So I just took this tool and basically, so what I want is to adjust the position, and I also want to adjust the rotation of these slices. So I have orange slice 1 and orange slice 2. So I'm going to actually grab the, actually, I'm just changing the height, so I don't need to do this. So I'm just going to put a frame, a keyframe, which is these dots, basically hold to indicate that this is where it needs to be on the y-axis. And then from here, I just kind of estimate, I'm still playing around with exact timing, but I probably did about like 200 milliseconds. And then I'm going to move this down here because I want it to fall at about that position. And then I'm going to add a keyframe. And I also want to adjust the rotation. So you notice it's pretty straightforward. This just simply changes the height. And then I'm going to adjust, put rotation here. So keeping it at the rotation that it is, and then go at, when it hits that area, I actually want it to rotate. So I'm just gonna simply rotate it here, and then put a keyframe, and then just hit this this kind of brush icon so that it knows that this is the rotation that it needs to be. So basically, if it falls, it'll hit here. And then because I want it to kind of shake a little bit, so what I do is that when it hits here, I'm actually gonna rotate it. Actually, what I'll do is I'll move this, and I'm gonna take that same rotation here, but then go back to the previous rotation, and then have it tilt more than what I had originally. Because when it falls, the impact, my thought is that the impact, it's like the orange tilts a little more, and then it'll go back to kind of balancing as on the ground. So let me just hit the brush tool and then press OK, so that when it falls down, it'll go up and then it'll go back. And then I want it to kind of move back, actually to shake a little bit. So I'm gonna hit the rotation again and have it move, not that much, but just like a little bit, and then go back. Oops, actually, sorry, I didn't hit the brush tool. So rotate it a little bit, hit this, press OK, and then go back here, and then move it back, so that, hit the rotation. And then if I go back, I just hit spacebar to look at it so you can see it shake. And basically, I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. I think I'm kind of crunched on time, so I'm not gonna show you guys that, but it's the exact same thing. So once I have that, I'm just going to render. Sorry, this plugin is fairly new, so it's a little buggy, but you just hit render, and here you can select like what kind of file. I'm just gonna make it a GIF, and you can choose to make it loop if you want to, but I don't need to, so I'm just gonna render it. And as it renders, basically what I'll have is this GIF file that I can save onto my desktop, and then I can just take that and put it into here as a layer. So I'm gonna put, okay, hang on, let me close this and let me open it again. Okay, here. Sorry, let me export it again. No, I'm gonna render it again. So what's supposed to happen is that this link's supposed to change so that you can click it and you can view it in a browser. And once you view it in a browser, you can basically save it onto your desktop as an image. Okay, view last render. So I'm gonna click this, and then let me stop sharing my Figma so I can share the other screen. Sorry, I have a bit of a lag. Stop. Okay, and then share the Chrome. So it'll pop up, if you guys can see, pop up on my Chrome, and then it has that motion. And basically what I can do is right click and save this image onto my desktop and label it how I want. And then, okay, I'll stop sharing that, share my Figma. Okay, and then from there, I basically took the GIF that I had. Let me grab it, which I put on my desktop. Where did it go? Orange slice GIF. And then I just dragged it in, and then I have this layer here, and I just make sure that it's just on my frame. And then from there, basically when you go through the prototype, it'll just animate through. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I was gonna show you guys how to add GIFs, which is basically what I just did, but basically you can Google anything, any GIF. I just Googled, like for this one, I just simply Googled like leaves, and I saved it. And then I just went to my desktop and grabbed it and just plopped it into here, adjusted the size a little bit and moved it to the position that I wanted. So if you go here, you should be able to see the leaves moving. And so, which is really great because sometimes, I don't even need to create a GIF for that. Yeah, so that's everything I have for the full prototype. I can share this file with you guys, and I can also share kind of all the links with the different resources and the plugins that I use. But yeah, I hope you guys, this was helpful and useful. Let me know if you have any more questions.
No, I had one question. Does the GIF have a transparent background or a white background? That depends on the GIF, right? Depends on the GIF.
Yeah, it depends on the GIF. I'm actually not sure if the plugin is smart enough to do transparent background, but it's white, and I just adjusted the background so that it's the same as my my prototype. Yeah, I can share my email. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to email me here.
Yeah, animation is really cool, right? And then it's also interactive. Your friends probably will like the action, like you swipe to next screen, next screen, next screen, right? That action is very interesting for a lot of people, right? And nowadays, the aspect ratio was portrait. It's because I guess we send it a lot to the mobile phone, or we view it on our smartphones. So it like fits perfectly.
Yeah, I did a portrait because that's like typically how you view the story on Instagram. So I kept it. Yeah, no, you're free to use landscape. There's like a tools on Figma that you can just simply flip it to landscape.
We have a question. When you're done with the prototype and if it all looks good, how do you change it to a JPEG file or PDF for print?
Oh, for print? Oh, okay.
Hey, we're gonna send it out to a printing press.
Yeah,
How do you
it's
do
super
that?
easy. So you'll have, because it's a prototype, there's multiple screens, so you'll actually have to go in, and if you look at design at the bottom, there's export, and then you can export it as a JPEG or PDF or however you want here, and then just maybe I want to.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the remainder of this session, I like to show how to make videos. And then for that part, I made videos about how to make videos. And then because I knew the time was limited, and then so if I keep on like go to this, I'll probably run out of time. Okay, so my name is Isaac. I'm a YP serving one in Northern California, and I'm sharing my screen right now. I hope you can see it. So first, in order to make videos, you will need video editors. And then so these are the representative ones that a lot of us serving ones use. So Final Cut Pro by Apple, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro. And the one I have is actually iMovie. because it comes with my Mac. So I didn't have to buy anything. It was there pre-installed already. The first three, they actually cost some money. And then so you young people may not be able to afford them, but you may be able to find a friend who has one of them, then they can do the video editing for you. If you have a Mac, you will have iMovie for free. And one brother told me about Shotcut, and this one is free for download. So you can download it for both Mac and Windows. And so a lot of you may ask, right, how do we make that composite video of people singing, right? And then you put people singing together. You would need one of these paid ones, or the Shotcut can do that one. Using iMovie, it's pretty tough. I heard it's like really painful. So that one, the free one, this iMovie probably cannot do. So if you could get hold of one of these other four, then you can make those singing video. Okay, so now for the this video clip, what I want to show is how to make a simple video with some singing and maybe just a photo that you have. And then you could create a very short video and use that as a gospel track. So I'll play this right now. In iMovie, create a new project. And name it something like gospel video. You can select a photo from photo library and drag and drop into iMovie. In iMovie, drag and drop the photo into the movie area. When you play the movie, the picture will look as though it is expanding or shrinking. This is called Ken Burns mode. You can see the setup by double-clicking on the picture, and here it is. But if your picture is a live picture, then you'll have to export it as a movie, which you would do by going to Export and Export Unmodified Original. Next, to include audio, there are some good instrumental hymns on the internet, such as this one. Or this one. Or this one. These are 1-hour hymns in the Lord's Recovery on YouTube. To record the audio from YouTube, I use a paid product called Ultima Airy. But if you don't have a paid product to record the audio, maybe you can use a default application like Voice Memos. To combine the video and audio, you will simply drag and drop the MP3 file into the movie area. But you'll notice that the audio file is very long, so you need to select the right portion. You will find the right portion by playing the audio and go to the place where you want to begin. And if you find that place, then you'll left click and split clip, and then remove the unnecessary top portion. Then to find the end of your selection, you'll play it again. In this case, I am trying to get one round of deep and wide. I found it, so I stopped there and then I split the clip again and then remove the rest of the portion. And finally, I move the selected audio portion all the way to the beginning. At the beginning, you can bring in the live picture that you exported as a movie. Now let's see how it looks like. You can adjust the volume of the video or the audio by double-clicking it and going here and make it lower volume. Then you can add a simple gospel message as captions. You can add them by going here, choosing your style, and typing. And another one. And another one. Okay, let's now play from the beginning. When you're done with the video, then you can export it as a file. Okay, so that is the end of the first clip of the video. So now you have a file, a video file, and what you could do next is to upload it maybe to a YouTube account, and then you can share that with your friends. Let's see, maybe I think I have one example of that. Let me share my screen right now. Here you go. So this is my YouTube account. And then, so I created a very similar video like that as an invitation to a gospel meeting. And then we had this link here. This is basically the login link. So people can actually click on this link in the description of the YouTube. So what I did was I just shared this link with our friends. Then the gospel friends can attend our gospel meeting in this way. Okay, so that's one video. And then there's another one that I kind of wanted to show because it has to do with this Summer School of Truth, something I did for this Summer School of Truth. So let's see how that went. Okay, I hope you can see this one. And I'm going to play this one too. To add fancy graphics to a video, you will work with graphics with transparent background in PowerPoint for Windows or Keynote for Mac. Here is a graphic with transparent background. You can create a transparent background using Microsoft Paint application or something similar. In Keynote, add a text that goes with the graphic. In this case, the speaker wants to emphasize the word dispense. So we create a text and type dispense. Then to animate the text and the graphic, we go here. Then you will add animation to both the graphic and the text. If you click on the graphic, then you'll see build in and build out. Building is how the graphic will be brought in, and build out is how it will be removed. In this case, I would like the graphic to move in from the bottom and then make the text appear. For the build out, I like to see the text disappear and then the graphic move down. You can see the whole arrangement here in the build order. The graphic will first move in from the bottom on click, and the text auto follows the graphic. Then for the removal, first make the text disappear on click, and then the graphic slides down. Let's see a preview of the building and build out. Then you'll create a movie file of the animation using the record function in Keynote. In this case, I would like the sequence to be about 10 seconds. But I would like the graphics to be visible for about 7 seconds. To make the movie file, go here, record slideshow, turn off the mic, and start recording. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and stop. Then you will export the recorded slideshow as a movie. Here for the resolution, you have to select custom. Then for the compression type, select Apple ProRes 4444. Now let's see how the graphics in Brother Rodrigo's speaking looks like. I bring in the 10-second movie and place it right here. Let's see how it looks like.
Trayun. And the reason he's Trayun is because he wants to dispense himself into you and me. And this is a wonderful reality too. So that shows that God's desire.
And this is how it's all done. Amen. Okay, so that's how I did it for this SSD this year. Yeah, I hope that interested you. And let me again put the Canva workshop from last year that Sister Emily conducted. So that one is an easier version of the gospel track. I actually used this workshop to create many gospel tracks. So I hope you find that one useful as well. I put it in the chat. Okay, so that is the end of our session. There's just one more thing I want to say to the young people. You know, young people, you do need to kind of have a common sense protection for yourself, right? So you don't put your phone number, you don't put your home address on the gospel track, right? And then you kind of have to be careful about what you share with people, right? So, you know, maybe make your social media account private or have two different accounts, right? One public, one private, so you don't share everything, right? And then, so, you know, kind of have a common sense protection for our young people, okay? So that is, I just wanted to add that.